Oh, hello. Are we live? Oh my
Apparently.
god, we've been live for a few seconds. Oh,
Ah,
well, they changed the platform on me on how to get it to go live. So I don't do well with change, so I was just trying to work that out. But hey, we got there in the end. Um, but yeah, what do you guys have going on? Any exciting fish news for us, team?
I got no exciting fish news. Well, my
Any
black
boring
capelli
fish
comp
news?
spawned in my Tropheus tank, so that was cool.
Did they get eaten?
Um, well, possibly. I'm not home at the moment, as you can see
Oh
from
yeah.
behind me. Um, but I don't know if I'm going to keep them anyway because there's still lots of them around.
Well, if they survive on their own, that's their business, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. But it's cool watching them interact and watching the male try to attack me when I clean the tank and stuff. That's fun.
What trophies are they in with?
The Firefox in the lounge, in the kitchen. Sorry.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh,
have you
it'll
Yeah,
put a
I
look
new
cool
enjoy them.
either way.
have you put a new tank in your kitchen?
No,
What $5 are you talking about?
the Tropheus that have been in the kitchen for like ever.
I thought they were dubs.
No, the dubs have been in the fish room forever.
So it's
Yep,
the same
yep.
same tank, but
Yeah.
you swapped the fish out.
Nope.
What?
Nope. Nope. Nope.
What?
Nope. Nope. Nope.
No way. I'm
No
99%
way.
unsure. I'm 99% unsure that the last time I was up there, you had dubs in that tank and not $5.
Nah, it's probably too small for my dubs. I'd say. The tank.
You're wrong, Colonel Sanders.
Oh,
How would you know? It's not even your house.
eh,
That's it. I'm flying up to Auckland. I'm proving my point.
Who says Ryan should be removed for his blasphemy against the wires?
That's Matt.
The
Facebook
only,
user.
our most favorite viewer ever. He's the man, and
Not that we have favorites.
I'm gonna speak for Cam here, and he's gonna offer you, just like me, a 50% discount for the rest of your time keeping fish in our shop. Just because
enough.
you love the wires and you're anti-Ryan. I like it. We're in.
Yeah, I'll get rid of the sunrise, so that everyone's not blinded.
Just by your forehead, then.
Yeah, you just got to be careful of reflections, mate, because it
The
still might get us
sun's
like
going
a
to
mirror.
definitely going to come off my forehead. Yeah.
Yep.
The sun's going to what on your forehead?
Reflect.
Won't be the first time.
So I have a question for you, Ryan. Obviously, you go up north a lot for your work and that. And when you do that, do you like get worried about your fish, or are you just like, they'll be fine, kind of thing?
I do get concerned, but I have ink birds in the fish room, so I can keep an eye on the temperature, which helps. Because I figure temperature and power are my two main concerns. So if the ink birds go offline or the temperature gets too hot, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And the fish room's set up on automatic water changes. The other tanks are inside, and yeah, it's no drama.
I would, if it was me, I would be, especially with your I don't know, should we say track history? I would be really stressed about like just coming home and opening the door, and then the tanks would have like 3 centimeters of water in them. Because like I've obviously I've had problematic tanks before that I'm like, there's a very high chance these are gonna leak, and I was always really stressed that you'd walk around the corner and it would be like that.
Nah, I'm not that concerned. I've been around so much and nothing really goes wrong. All the tanks that have leaked, are gonna leak, have already leaked, so it's all good.
Well, you say that now, and then I'm sure next time when you come back.
Yeah, I mean, if I go away for longer than a day or two, the missus goes out and checks on them and feeds them for me.
Oh, nice.
Which is quite amusing because sometimes she can't find the hole on top of the tank, and so she'll just put the food in where she thinks the hole should be, and I come back and there's usually like a really neat pile of food on top of the lid that hasn't even made it into the tank. So yeah, she's really good. She's not a fish keeper, but she tries her best. I don't know
I've
what
had
she
that
did. She didn't
before.
realise the food wasn't going into the tank, and she couldn't see it. But yeah,
I've had that before. I had a client do the same thing. Like, I think it was they had this lid, and then they took it off one day and broke it. Like it was just a glass lid, and so we put a new one on, and it was like ever so slightly different dimensions. Like the hole was like a little bit further to the left or something like that. And then they were just dropping the food on the same spot. And then the next time we went, there was just like this pile of like all this like damp, moldy food sitting there where they'd
Yeah,
missed the
yeah.
little feeding slot, and then it was all sitting there, and then all the fish were like obviously really
Hungry.
upset about the lack of food, and we had to be like, oh yeah, like we need to feed the fish. Make sure
the
it
food
goes in the
goes in the
water.
tank.
That's a good first step. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, we got it. But yeah, that was kind of funny. And it was like disgusting, and it's like kind of stank and everything because it was like damp up there, and it was like in the middle of this restaurant, and it's just like, oh my god, not ideal. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
So
What
yeah,
did Buddha say?
I'll pull it up. Here we go, in the middle.
Yeah.
So Helen, one of our most active listeners, has asked us a question, which
And
says,
the one that has the most hatred for Ryan.
"Well,
She's also really apparently really good at mowing lawns, but she hasn't come from mowing my lawns yet, so I don't know if that's true.
they
So
call it a love-hate relationship."
Right. Okay.
But Helen's question is, the power is going off today, and she's bought some of those little battery-powered ear pumps, but she can't find how long they will run on these batteries before obviously they die. So, what do you guys reckon?
she's given them the D size. Um, the problem with those pumps is they are pretty much the definition of Chinesium. I've had them before, and I've used like 6 of them to power buckets of fish, and some of them have gone 6 or 8 hours, and some of them have gone 1 or 2, and just there's no rhyme or reason for it. So yeah, I have had them go up to sort of 6 to 8 hours on the batteries before. The batteries also, I've just gone to the $2 shop and bought them, so probably the batteries that I've bought have been pretty crap as well, potentially.
When
I
So,
think
yeah.
that's probably the batteries to blame, not the pump itself, potentially. Or
Yeah,
ultimately,
I did test
it
the
could be
batteries.
you. It could be you to blame for being such a tight ass and not buying decent batteries.
I have tested the batteries before, being an electrical engineer, and I didn't find much difference between the ones from the $2 shop and the ones from the expensive ones.
Put me in my place.
So they can still put out lots of current and stuff. So yeah, don't know.
I have used them both, or like both, well, different brands of them, and I've found that there is some variation between the different brands in terms of like obviously how much air they're outputting, and then I also found about how long they last. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that Helen's talking about those Aqua One, the blue Aqua
The
One
blue
ones.
ones, yeah, that's the ones I'm
Yeah,
talking about. They're terrible.
that's what I'm gonna guess. I was gonna say they seem fine. Like I've had them last like probably because I use them semi often for clients as well, and I'd say like the batteries last like maybe 6. I would have said probably about 6 hours on average. Obviously, there's probably some variation there because I use just those rechargeable batteries, so I'm sure the variations in the charging, but I would say around 6 hours probably would be the average. But what I was going to say, I was going to say for Helen, I wouldn't to like make it last longer. You don't need to start it like the second the power goes off. Like keep an eye on it. You can give it like half an hour before you turn it on, because by then nothing will have happened most likely unless you've got a very highly stocked tank. But then flick it on, and then like say the power's off for 8 hours, you get an hour on each side, and it would make it a little bit easier for you. But that would be
You
my
just-
only advice.
You just reminded me we've got a power cut coming that I need to make sure I'm home for. So,
Do you not trust the process of your efforts?
and I've just said I'm running out of data, so I better do something about that while we're on here.
Sounds good. Well, what were you going to say, Cam? It sounded like you had a question.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, is there any other ones that we get other than the Aquarium ones? But obviously, because Helen said she got the Marina ones.
Yeah, Helen said she got the Marina ones, and then there's like a couple of those like random off-brand ones that people sell on Trade Me and stuff that you see around, like the imported brand kind of things.
You could assume that the Marina ones would be a better quality than the Aquarium ones because they're made by Hagen, which is basically Fluval. So it could but might not be. I don't know.
What I've done is when a car battery's got a bit sad, I've just chucked it in my garage or left it on charge, and then I've gone to JCar and bought an inverter. And then when there's a power cut, I just pull the car battery inside, stick the inverter on that, and plug the air pump into that, and you've got a real massive battery onto an inverter.
But you're an electrical engineer, and you know that like the plus goes to the plus, and the minus doesn't go to the plus. And so, like us regular people like me, I wouldn't have a clue how to do that. So stop being.
I'd probably burn my house down if I tried that. Let's be honest.
I would have no idea, and then insurance wouldn't cover me. I'm like, well, Ryan's an electrical engineer. He said I can do it this way, and I just did it.
You put it on backwards, and it doesn't do anything. It just lights up a red light and goes, "You're a dumbass."
See, I didn't even know that until just this moment. So I don't trust myself.
It's got idiot protection in it.
You've got a new skill to learn.
I put electricity up there with heights. I don't play with it. Fuel, I don't really like playing with that either. Welding, metal, wood, lots of things I don't like to play with.
Just anything that requires any
basically, if it's not an
hands-on knowledge.
Yeah,
fair enough. Facebook user says that they've used them for 7 hours without any trouble. So
yeah, I think I've used them
you'll be right, Helen.
About 7 or 8 hours too before, but some were working, some weren't. So yeah.
Yeah. We're also going to just throw this out there that
that's worth it.
Facebook user, which is Matt, says, after Ryan's silicon skills, do we trust any of his advice? And I'm going to say that's a very good point.
Yep.
I won't say anything, but I'll put that information out there, and what you guys do with it, that's up to you.
He doesn't have a degree in silicon thing. He has a degree in electrical thing.
Yeah.
Nice. Damn it, they got me here.
Yeah.
And I did have to pull in a qualified welder, but we did manage to pull the cab off the Holden and put it on a rotisserie in the weekend, so it's sitting sideways in the garage, which is pretty cool.
You put it in a rotisserie and cooking it?
Yeah. Spin it around.
That's something I can get behind. I can get behind cooking food.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that one.
Yeah.
What have you had fish related going on, Cam, in the past week?
As I was walking out of the shop yesterday, I just happened to walk past my group of Julie corridoras that aren't Julie's, and I found eggs for the first time. So I've had them spawn because there's lots of brine there, but it's the first time I've actually seen the eggs. And they were on a spawning mop, so I was like, cool. So they're using the mop that's in there. Brilliant. Took the mop out, and now I can go from there. So I was happy with that.
Nice. Well, they're a cool one. I've found they're one of the more popular quarries that's, available, I guess. I found people seem to love them. So
yeah, I bought 6 into the shop on Thursday last week, and they were gone by Friday. Oh, okay. Note to self, maybe produce some more of them.
They're like the ones with that look like they've got lines and stuff all over them, eh?
Spots and sort of close
kind of
to black
both,
and white.
They do have like a little bit of line. Well, not. It's like the spots kind of like join up almost towards the back.
Are they the
like
false Julies you're talking about?
I've got the trilinearis, which are the false Julies. The Julies, not Julies.
The Corys, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be talking about stinky old African cichlids because they're dumb. Oh, no bite. I threw that line in there pretty deep too.
Oh yeah.
Ryan is forcing so hard to get the Wi-Fi going for himself.
I was trying to figure out what it actually looks like, so I know what the fuck you're talking about.
a catfish, Corridorus.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. That's cooler than those poo brown things that Helen keeps trying to sell me on.
Woohoo! And the
Those-
attack is on.
What are those ones? The ones that she likes that are real dumb.
The
Hey,
Corys.
just because I threw a shot at you, then doesn't mean you have to take it on Helen. That's exactly what that is.
No,
Yeah.
but
How-
it's a
Yeah,
little
just
bit true.
catching strays, trying to watch the Blade live stream.
Oh, such a bully.
Oh well, no, that sounds like a good little fish, basically. So yeah, is
You've
there
also
any others
started-
that start spawning?
You've also started selling some of the fish that you've been breeding, haven't you, recently, which has been going quite well.
Yeah, we're probably up to 50% either in building spawned or locally spawned fish to imported fish that we're selling at the moment. So I'm really happy with that. I'd like to get that number a little bit higher, but I'm pretty happy with how that's going for the time being. So yeah.
And so, how's the like? Are you noticing a difference? Yes, you probably are. In vitality or color or or just how healthy they are. Have you got any feedback about the fish or anything that's sort of changed anything yet, or have you not been doing it long enough to really get that?
I don't spend long enough to get any feedback out of it. I've personally noticed that because they're not going through that stress period of importation, shipping, sitting, there's a lot less mortality in that period for ones that have been spawned. As long as I can get them through, the first 2 or 3 weeks, they're generally pretty good, which I think is a positive thing as well. So yeah.
Can you guys hear the wind? Can you blowing past my headset?
Yeah, it's
Mate,
quite
people
loud.
in Taranaki can hear the wind.
Oh, tough luck, homie. Yeah,
We
see,
would be
mate,
able to see the wind blowing through your hair if you had some.
I like that.
Not
which
bad,
we
that one,
definitely
mate.
don't.
I'll relocate again and see if I can get out of the wind.
Oh, good boy.
You're just
Go
trying
over
to
the side.
show off what you've got around you, aren't you?
But then the sun's just shining in my eyes.
Yeah, well, that's a you problem, not us
It's a
problem.
hard life.
Good on you, Hugh.
Let's see.
Oh, but yeah, no, that makes sense. And then, yeah, do you have any non-spawning related stuff going on, Cam, or is that all you've had really?
Oh, that's pretty much taking up my time for the best part. I took
Makes
some
sense.
time yesterday to. No, wait a minute, that's not true. I put a new pump on my shop sales tank, and it actually pushes water through amazingly fast.
Tell the listeners all about every little detail of this pump.
Okay, so it's a 12,000 litre per hour DC pump that I was going to put on the Clown Lodge tank. I've had it for a significant amount of time sitting here, and I've been having massive issues in one of my racks in the sales floor, I suppose. Just not doing it, not pushing the water through fast enough. It was always making cloudy water and debris and stuff everywhere. So I thought it was my poor design, which it probably still is. But we put the bigger pump on it, and water's flowing through like nobody's business now, and everything's being cleaned up. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh,
So I'm going
nice.
to put another one on the other side. So hopefully that'll back pressures and really starts pumping some water through the sales tanks.
Yeah,
Just going to
well,
relocate.
that sounds
Just going to
like a
relocate to. Just going to relocate to the pool room.
Oh, okay, Hugh.
What a humble guy.
Do you have a cognac that you're swirling around with your
This
cigars?
is almost like a Hugh Hefner couch, eh?
Oh gosh, that is a terrible touch.
That is a view I did not want to see this early in the morning.
Oh, yes. You love it.
A little bit, but not a lot.
Indeed.
Right. That'll help with the wind, right?
Yeah.
There's no wind. There's no wind in the pool room.
when you're not there. Yes.
Yeah.
We have a question. Just let me pull it up. There we go. So, Carsten has a question that says, when Corys, particularly Pepper and Albino, lay eggs on the glass, would it be best to leave them where they are or put them somewhere and let them hatch, separated? And I will say, I don't know. Cam would know more about breeding than me, so I'll let him answer this one.
if you're wanting to keep the fry and fry in decent numbers, I take them and hatch them in a small container. If you're happy for nature to take its course and you don't want to be overrun with lots and lots of fry, then just leave them there, and you might get the odd one pop up here and there, and you might not. So it depends
You
on
just
if you want
you just razor blade them off, eh?
Yeah, or EPOS card or a finger, you can roll them off, like just running up and down the glass sort of thing.
So they're
pretty
quite
easy to
strong
remove.
eggs then.
Yeah, they are. Real sticky. So, yeah, it depends if you want to keep them or not.
Well, I'd imagine probably if you're asking questions
Then you
about
can
it, probably
and
you'd
you
want
can
to
just
keep them.
put them into like a little breeding net or something with an air stone and then they'll be sweet.
Yeah, so I've hatched them in margarine container before, like just a tiny amount of water at the bottom of it, just a drop of meth blue was enough to make them hatch. That was in a fish room, so it was quite warm.
And
if your room's not
no
warm,
airflow.
no, just leave them like that the way they went. And then what I'm doing at the moment is very similar, but with a slightly bigger container, very small amount of water, meth blue, but there is an air stone in these ones here. So I haven't really noticed too much of a difference between air stone, no air stone, but I'm assuming that the air stone will produce a few more fry because there's more water flow going over it than without it. But yeah, it depends on if you want to be keeping them or not, really.
No,
Okay,
that makes
there you go.
sense.
There you go.
Thank you. And if anyone else has any questions or anything they'd like to ask, you can always feel free to drop them down and we will answer them if we know the answer. And if not,
we'll fake it till we
just
make it.
jokes about it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll just make shit up.
You mean like this joke here?
I honestly, that's the first time I've heard anyone talk about someone having glary knees, but I get it. Like now that image is in my head, I know exactly
it's not going away.
What that is. So
yeah.
Well, okay. If people are listening on the podcast, Abel Tasman Bettis says not sure where to look away from first, the glare from the window or the glare from the knees. Talking about Ryan. So
there you go. I'm trying to get out of the glare from the window then. There you go.
God, you're having such a struggle, Ryan.
It's a hard life right now for me.
Yeah, man. Is the computer currently perched on the edge of the pool?
Equally, Thomas is wondering how many times we can make Ryan move the stream. I think we need to have some sort of a live count going on.
Yeah, get a little tally system going.
Yeah.
We have one more question where Facebook user who Tom has asked to whether he just says gravel vac or not to gravel vac, which I assume means which is best.
Are we doing that in a full Romeo and Juliet voice? Yeah, that's full on Romeo and Juliet voice, that one.
Sure. Well, what do you guys reckon?
Is it Romeo and Juliet?
I don't think it is.
Now.
Shakespeare at least.
Romeo and Juliet.
Is there anything else that Shakespeare's ever done than the Leonardo DiCaprio movie? No.
Yeah, probably. Maybe.
I don't think we should be talking about English literature, to be honest.
I don't think it's our speciality, just like scientific names.
I don't know if that's why people come to listen. This is not our area of expertise.
I just gravel back when I need to, like when the tank's starting to look like there's shit all through the gravel, I just vacuum it. Pretty much. It definitely will help, but if you've got enough flow running around your tank, like my big tank in the lounge, there's enough flow in there that nothing settles on the gravel, so it's all good. So yeah, that's what I do. What do you guys do? Every water change, I suppose.
I generally just do it when it looks like it needs it. So like similar idea, when it starts to like cause aesthetic problems of
now
like
he's taking his clothes off. Ooh, yeah.
Jesus. But yeah, I generally just do it when it's like the gravel is getting too dirty looking in that. I don't really bother about every single water change because, to be honest, just can't be bothered really.
It's not needed every water change.
Yeah, exactly. But then there's some tanks like my big like Arowana and Oscar tank and like my Peacock and Hap tank. they wouldn't have been gravel vacked in like literal years. Because there's, for a few reasons, there's like enough flow where like any stuff gets picked up by the filter anyway. And also because they're like mature tanks, they break down stuff much faster. So it doesn't really cause big buildups. So for both of those, it would be literally years since I've done a gravel vac on either of them. And it's like aesthetically doesn't cause any trouble or anything. It just looks like normal. So that's kind of how I'd go about it and think about it. I don't know what Cam reckons, but I'm sure he'll tell us now.
Depends on the tank, depends on the substrate, depends on the
If
fish
it's
that are in
planted and if it's planted with like fancy soil and shit, you don't want to stir all that up either, do you?
Yeah, I tend to not bother with any planted tank. Those little small sort of pea gravel, I think it's called, like the rounded traditional standard stuff. I gravel
They're
back
like
that
slightly
stuff.
bigger stones.
Yeah, I gravel back that on a regular basis because stuff falls through it quite easily. Sand things doesn't seem to get stuff falling through quite as much.
Sits on the shop more, eh?
Yeah, on the shop tanks we kind of just hover above that every time we do a water change a couple of times a week just to clear all that kind of stuff out. But so it totally depends on the tank. Like the cichlid tank at the back, I've never done a gravel vac on it. There's plenty of flow through it, and the catfish stir everything up. So yeah, it just depends on the tank and what's in there to whether or not we do.
With some tanks, like with that kind of more fine, like sand or like real small, like grit in that. So one thing I do sometimes is like before I start doing anything, I'll just like stir it up with my fingers a little bit if it's getting a bit like mucky, because then I don't have to like worry about going around and like sucking out half the gravel. I just go around and like stir it up with my hand real quick,
and then
throw
it out of the water.
bits is like floating around, and then just when you do a water change normally, it just because it's floating around, it just gets sucked out anyway. I find that's probably the easiest way to do it, I reckon, because even what I find, what you do, like, you know how people say to leave the top of the siphon like a little bit above, even that just, you still end up sucking, getting rid of gravel, which is, you know, day to day doesn't matter, but
it's a pain. You've got to do it into a bucket, and then you've got to try and regulate your flow so it's not all getting sucked up and stuff. It's a pain. Yeah,
it's just, I find it easier just to like stir it up, and then probably obviously it'll be cloudy for a little bit, but it'll all settle and go back to normal quick enough, so it's not the end of the world. So yeah, but thank you, Facebook user whose name I forgot, for the question.
Tom.
Yeah, Tom, sweet as. Well, thank you, Tom. We appreciate it. Well, oh, whoops. I just clicked the button. What I've had going on recently was... Oh, hold on. I accidentally opened a support chat with StreamYard. My bad. But
we need support. We are terrible.
Yeah, we just need some
help us not be crap.
We need to learn about English literature. Give us some support.
Yeah. But yesterday I had Andrew come in, who Ryan will know, but I don't know if anyone else will. Who he brought in this, like, you know, those like Glad like sandwich bags, and it was like, maybe it wasn't that big. It was probably like, I don't know what would it be. It would be like maybe 20 centimeter long by like 10 centimeter wide, like brick of Java moss. And I was like, oh, cool, like that'll be fun. I'll you know, he just traded it for some stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, kids will love it and that. And then I went to go unpack it, and it really was like a brick. It was like so densely, like it you know, like wrapped it up, so it was easy to
picked a whole tank worth of Java moss and Java moss into one tin bag.
That's exactly what he said. He was like, oh, I just cleared out one of my tanks, and because it was so dense, it just like, as I was like portioning it out for people, and like I just tied up with a rubber band for people, it just kept coming and coming. It was like, you know, like a genie, like a magician, like pulling stuff out of the hat. It just like kept coming. I was like, oh my god! And so now I've got like a irresponsible amount of moss just sitting there, and it was like to the point where I was like, God, I don't even know where I'm going to put all this moss. Like, My plant
You
Oh,
can
tank
put it.
isn't
You can put it in
massive.
aquariums. You can put it in aquariums. That's what you.
That's
See,
a
I
great
got that
option, Ryan.
far. I got that
That's a
far,
great
but
option. Well done, Plant Guru.
that's why I
I
pay you as the ideas man.
I'm pretty pretty good with the old Java Moss. So you know, a bit of a Java Moss
I've-
bro.
Hey, if you want
I've had-
more, I know a guy.
I've had two questions come out of what you've said. First of all, did that sandwich bag full of moss weigh around about 30 grams, and did you buy it for about $300?
No comment.
Okay.
But
So-
no, it was a good.
And
good
are you
good
breaking
little
it up
haul.
into smaller portions that you are then going to triple your money on and sell in smaller little units, smaller little container type things?
I have no comment. Don't worry
Okay,
about it.
I understand.
Don't worry
Understood.
about it. It's all under control.
I'll ask no more questions.
Yeah, damn straight. But yeah, so that was kind of funny. Like a nice little, I guess, surprise. And then
And
the other thing,
Andrew's a bloody good bugger though. Eh? He's awesome.
yeah, yeah,
Should actually catch up with him, have another beer and something. Get him to take some more
You
photos
should.
in my fish room.
A beer
Yeah.
and maybe the bag of Java moss.
yeah, man.
I can give him some Java Moss, but I know he doesn't need any.
Yep. But yeah, because he's a photographer, so he has some very cool fish
Mm.
pictures. Well, pictures of everything, but
Yeah,
fish
he's got
pictures.
some photos. Yeah,
You know that's like crazy stuff. So yeah,
and he
no,
goes way
cool.
back. Goes way back. He's been keeping fish for a long time too. So yeah, he knows his stuff.
Yeah, longer than I've been around. So not that that's a high bar. I
As I said,
guess.
that's not much of an achievement.
So longer than about 12 years.
Exactly. So that was the one story I wanted to tell you guys, just because it was funny how it was so like densely wrapped up. But then the other story I was going to tell you guys.
I also want to say that as an audio story, I really liked the fact you were like a magician pulling it out of a hat. That was that built a good picture for an audio sort of way.
Bro, literature. That's my passion.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
I
you
love
did
the
a really
English
good-
language.
But
You
not
did a really
English
good
literature.
job. Yeah, it's just, English, but you're like Asian, so you can't be that good at English.
Don't worry about it, man. It's all under control. But the other story I was going to tell is probably some people have seen it on Facebook that I posted it, but you know, probably not everyone, so I'm still going to tell it. But the other day, I think it was on Thursday last week, I had a job, like just with a client, and it was like near Western Springs, if people know where that is in Auckland. So
That's where rock bands play.
yes,
That's
but
where the speedway is, not rock bands. It's where the speedway is.
it's where the zoo is. And
I've only been there for concerts, so no cars are there.
Zoo. The zoo.
yeah, the zoo's there. Don't worry about it. And but yes, so I went, and like if people know, like, because I live kind of near my shop, so it was like basically I have to go through the worst of the traffic to get there, because it was like a 9 a.m. appointment. So I left really early, and then hilariously the traffic was all good. So I got there, and I was like a bit over an hour early. So I was like, well, this is kind of
Hold on.
a pain in the ass.
Do you have to incorporate an hour's worth of traffic to get from one place to another place in Auckland?
Well, evidently I don't, but I did.
Fuck
It
that
wasn't-
for a joke.
It wasn't quite an
It's
hour. It
because
was
there's
like
actually people
50
here,
minutes
and
early.
you know, like the horse and carts are a little bit faster, and a few more of them, and people can actually afford them up here. You know.
Oh
So-
man, I got stuck in traffic this morning because I got to the red
The-
light and it took me 4
the
minutes to
motors-
get where I needed to go.
The motor drawn
that's-
carriages are a bit different.
Yes,
Okay.
but no, I was like more or less an hour early, which was like obviously I didn't just want to sit there outside their place for an hour. That would be weird. So I went to Western Springs, like there's like a big like lake there. So I was like, oh, I'll just go for a walk. You know, it's a nice morning. Listen to my podcast and go for a walk.
Was it the
So that
Three
was
Idiots
cool.
Talk Aquariums podcast?
No, I don't go around listening to my own
YouTube?
podcast. I'm sorry to report.
What?
That's like, oh, okay. But no, I was listening. think it was a
Did you
baseball
just
one I was
freeze
listening
for
to,
you?
actually. But whatever. I was walking around, oh, that's a nice plant.
You
Hello,
just
swans.
froze and then unfroze.
To
Yeah.
me.
And then I
I
heard
don't know.
swans.
Oh, well,
You were talking about.
yes. I was walking around. Looking at the swans, looking at the ducks, looking at the plants, looking at eels, having a wonderful
So
time.
you're enjoying the serenity, were you?
Exactly. And there's like this little bridge where you like walk up and then there's all eels underneath. And it was like pretty cool. And I was like just standing there looking at the eels because I like them. And then I was like, oh yeah, whatever. And then I started walking away and like I looked to the side and then I saw this little like foot going back and forth, like, like a swimming. And I was like, what the hell's that eel doing? And then I like looked closer and I was like, that is definitely not an eel. And it was this turtle that was just like swimming past, like it was like chasing this eel, but hilariously, this eel couldn't care less and was obviously much faster swimming. But that's kind of beside the point. For the people that aren't, from New Zealand listening, we don't have native turtles. This is an invasive turtle. So someone has obviously either had it escape
It was
or
really,
released it.
wasn't it?
Well, I don't know. To me, it looked like a Reeves turtle, or I think they call them like Murray River turtle or whatever. But the lady I talked to from MPI talked to a some form of turtle eradication expert who reckoned it was a red ear. But it was hard to see because like the video I took was a lot of glare in
It's
that.
muddy water and reflection and yeah.
Yeah. So it was some kind of turtle. But yeah, it was kind of crazy to see because like obviously in this line of work you deal with a lot of like exotic species in that, but it was so crazy to just see it completely unrelated, like when I wasn't expecting it. And obviously it's bad because they eat, native plants and native fish and stuff, so we don't want them, but it was interesting. So I did report it and they're doing their I don't know, doing the eradication thing. I guess they'll try catch it or something.
There's all sorts of funky fish in there.
I think there used to be.
There.
I think there's a lot less now because they used to have. I know there used to be like a lot of koi, for example.
Yeah,
but they've eradicated them all now.
Yeah, is it like a closed off waterway, or can it go places?
No, it doesn't go anywhere. But
no, it's just
obviously,
like a big
if it was to
around
flood,
the concert. So it's just a big moat around the concert place. Pretty much.
It's not related to the concert place.
Well, it's like kind of where they have concerts.
Well, it's like kind of far. It's like the other side. There's Motat in the middle, which is like where they have all the trains. I've been to Motat. Yeah, so like with the arena's on one side, and then like the park is on the other side of Motat.
Oh, so okay, so Western Springs is a region; it's not an actual place. Yes. Okay, right, I'm with you now.
They often do concerts at the Western Springs Speedway.
They
have done it at the Western Springs Park too, or the zoo park. Yeah,
I thought Western Springs was just that venue. I thought that's what the venue was called, not the suburb or the region of Auckland.
The little complex because there's like the zoo, Motat, the park, the Speedway, and the concert.
I didn't know that was they were in Western Springs. I thought that was the Motat and the zoo.
Yeah, but no. So that was the thing, and yeah, there did used to be a lot more invasive stuff in there, but they are getting rid of them. But yeah, there is catfish, and she was telling me that they do know of a little population of red-eared sliders that lives. She said they usually hang out on the other side to where I was, but then there's like maybe this Reeves turtle, and there used to be heaps of koi and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of sad, but it's cool to see that they're trying to.
It'd be almost impossible to get rid of them, eh? Like it'll be so hard.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. It's massive. It's like a humongous lake. It's be hard to get on top of them.
Catfish in that one, or is that Waikato?
What's that?
Do they have the bullhead catfish? Is that the Waikato?
They do have catfish. Yeah,
I think they do. They do apparently.
I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see any this time, but I have seen them previous times I've been swimming around doing their thing.
It's almost like you just want to, like you don't want to, but catch as many native shit out as you can, and then just chlorine the whole thing, and neutralize it and start again. But
the problem is they will come back, I'm sure, because even assuming the best of intentions from everyone, stuff will get washed in there. Like from neighboring streams and stuff. Like it is a hard one, but what are you
That's
going to
another
do? I
reason not
suppose.
to live in Auckland, because they have shitty stuff in their water.
You got nitrates in your
Yes.
water. Shut up, Nelson.
It's only
You're
because of all the
drinking
cows that
nitrates.
we produce that you eat.
Someone asked a question about cycling a tank. What was it? Carsten?
Hold on.
I've never met anyone called Carsten before, so that's a new name for me.
Broadening your horizons, eh?
So Carsten, yes, if your filter is cycled on another
Well,
tank.
read out the question first because we're on a podcast. So
yes, sorry, I forget about this. Would I be able to take one of the filters and half the water from one tank and put it in a new tank and then fill it up as if I'd done a water change and use it the same day? Yes, you would be able to. You would obviously be taking half of your cycle from the other tank that you're taking it from. So you need to keep an eye on that. But the cycle is in the filter and it will be fine. You just have to build up the stocking slowly. Like you wouldn't, if it was a big tank and you were going to put 100 African cichlids in it, you wouldn't dump 100 African cichlids in that day. You'd put 30 in and then wait a couple of weeks and chuck 20 in and then just build it up slowly and do water changes and feed lightly and keep an eye on it.
But yeah, you could do that. And then
it's the best way to cycle a new tank.
Follow-up comment that he's trying to set up a new tank, so that's definitely the best way to do it. But yeah, there we go.
Cool.
Oh no, whoops. But yeah, so yeah, I guess the main thing we're wanting to talk about today was about
random question.
Random question.
Oh.
Random question.
Man, we've been going for like
40
45 minutes, and
41
I
minutes.
actually just realized.
Problem.
So we did have
haven't actually got to the topic, or the listener mail, or the random question.
We did have a listener message, but we might save that for next.
Was that on the Facebook page?
Yeah.
Well, I've already answered it and sent them a link to the episode we did on that.
And seeing as we've been interacting with listeners for like 45 minutes, we might.
The real question is though, why do we even have topics anymore?
Fair point, because I don't know what else I'd put in the title. I guess
we like fish.
Someone actually might want to know something about scientific names.
So, what I was going to say is, if you guys want us to keep having specific topics, let us know. Otherwise, if you guys want us to just wing it, let me know. And Helen also just said that her power goes out in 15 minutes, and so she wants it. What's the main topic fast?
It's almost like a Helensville problem.
I will try to get them all in line, Helen. Don't worry. But aside from
the random question,
random question,
so
and you've died again.
Question.
You what?
You died again.
I keep freezing. Something's going on with the internet.
Have you tried turning the heater on?
I don't get it. Well,
you've died again.
Oh, okay. This one will be loosely fish related, but not loosely, but fish related. But
no, we're not doing that one again. We're not doing which fish you want to be. That was so dumb. I'm still scarred from that. No.
Or that you really want to.
He's gone. He's gone.
He's not. There he is.
Wait, am I back?
You're back now. You're back now. Yeah.
Okay. What fish that you haven't kept before do you really want to keep?
Red Terror. Simple.
Hello?
Red Terror.
Good choice.
Mine is Ultimate Angels.
That is random, but sure. Not what I would have expected you to say.
I think they're awesome. Or Frontosa.
And my one.
So, is this the time that I get to say,
cool.
"Hey Cam, you got no logical people around you. Oh, you've got no technology. Oh, you're so backwards. Oh, blah, 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 because your internet's playing up today. Is this
We'd
the
tell
time
you
that
to
I'm
we'd
allowed
tell
to do
you
that?
to we'd tell you to go and turn the wheel a bit faster outside. Get the
Yeah,
horse
turn
going
the
around the
wheel.
car.
Get the hamster going. Oh, go find some civilization. Have they even invented a telephone there yet? Has Mr. Bell got to your house yet? Duh. I've had my fun now. I'm good.
You got that out of your system?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, I think he's frozen, so he probably hasn't heard it
Having
anyway.
fun? I did
he's-
on and off hear that. But what? So we'll get to the main topic to help Helen out. But so with scientific names for fish, what is the difference between that and like a common name for? I don't know. I can't think of any examples, but like, what is the main differences between
Hmm.
Gosh,
them?
Cam.
Like, and what does?
Cam, you should probably
Yes,
try and
yeah.
hotspot. You should probably try and hotspot off your phone or something and get off your Wi-Fi. See if that works differently.
God, feels
just as-
good at not
just
being
as a-
me for a change.
Just as a suggestion, just change your connection. So you're
Oh.
asking what is the difference between a scientific name and a common name? Well, a scientific name is science, and a common name is made up. Done. Anything else?
In the bucket. I just want to add that I am
Mic
really
drop.
I'm enjoying sitting on my throne because it is not me with the internet connections today, and I'm feeling a little high and mighty today. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you are pretty much nailing technology when Nelson's like 30 years behind the rest of the country.
Yes.
I'm
Take it.
surprised did you use the dial-up and going when you were trying to connect this morning?
Wonder if Cam's tried turning it on and off again. Should we ask him?
And your
Have
mum's
you
probably
tried-
going, get off the internet so I can ring Martha down the road.
Is this better?
Think you tried
Yeah.
turning it on and off again?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I just. Oh, actually, yeah,
What?
I did. But whatever.
You went off your hotspot, did you?
So
Oh no. He
He
didn't listen to me.
tell
He
the
didn't
difference
listen to me.
right now.
Did you not use your hotspot?
I did.
Okay, well, you're still looking up.
Oh,
But
this is
anyway,
bullshit, man.
Karen. We were just saying that scientific names are science and common names are made up, and that's it. That's the end of it, really.
Well, can
So,
you go
yeah.
into any more depth on that, or is that just the end of the podcast?
we can do that. So, like those frontosa that I've got on my tank, I'm going to start calling them blue striped hump heads. But they're different from the blue non-striped hump heads, which are dolphins. But they've both got hump heads and they're both blue. So I've just made up the name for them. But they're blue hump heads.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And you see it with African cichlids all the time. Like people talk about red emperors, and I've seen New Zealand's leading aquatic shops that sell red empress peacocks and stuff like that, and they're just random made up names of random stuff. And it's really interesting for me to see that sometimes when the wholesale lists come out, they've got random made up names and not scientific names on them, and so you don't actually know what you're buying, which is also fun.
Do you want to know my favorite one that's on a wholesale list? It is just the dumbest thing, but every time I see it, it always makes me laugh. But there is one wholesaler that sells electric blue peacock, which is
Oh yeah.
I don't
Is
even
it
like. So an electric blue is a hap, or there's like blue types of peacocks. So like I have no idea what that is. I'm not going to spend money on something that I have no idea what it is. But
Yeah, is it
every time I
electric
see
blue
it's
hap, or
hilarious.
is it electric blue hap, or is it?
Are they Ali's?
We're not going to get
No
into
idea.
that.
It could literally, it could be anything.
Oh, is that the one that doesn't have the scientific name beside it?
Yeah, like it literally could be
right,
like
sorry. Yeah.
like if I bought it, I'm sure like there's probably a 50% chance an Mbuna would turn up, kind of thing. But that's beside the point.
And electric blues sometimes are a Mbuna, blue zebras, all sorts of stuff. It depends. And I'm trying to think of some common names for other fish that get confused.
Julie corridors.
Julie's, yeah. All the Corys would probably get confused quite often, wouldn't they? But a scientific
common
name
makes life easy for general people wanting to buy new fish. Like, oh, I want a
Certainly.
bronze corridor. There it is, a bronze corridor. I want a golden bristlenose. Oh, there is a golden bristlenose. Like, it makes life easy for general people walking into shops or just general hobbyists. It's not until you get a little bit deeper down the line when people want to specifically know exactly what they've got or what they're wanting to breed and spawn from that it kind of makes a real difference. But I think for probably 90% of the people that keep fish, having a common name is fine. It's just the other aspect of it, the other group of people that makes it a difference for.
The big problem
100%.
that I have is I get contacted by people all the time, like now because through Kim's school, and they're asking me about what stuff they can stick in their tank, and they don't even know what they've got. Oh, I've got a pleco in there, they say. So what sort of pleco have you got?
Welcome to running a fish shop.
You know, and they don't know. So like, it's so, and then you go into, there's not even a convention for it. Like you say, that the wholesalers have different common names on all of them, and they don't use the scientific names. And then you go into different shops, and they're using different common names for different fish.
To be fair, the only one
confusing.
that doesn't use a scientific name doesn't import fish. The ones that import use a scientific name as well as a common name. Sometimes those common names aren't common in New Zealand because they import them as something else.
And they don't line up to the scientific name, but then a common name's just made up anyway, so it doesn't have to.
Yeah, but a common name in New Zealand to a common name in Australia to a common name in England are three different sometimes three different things. Bushy nose in America, bristle nose in New Zealand, and every other part of the world, as an example.
This Americans being difficult, of course.
So, like,
joking, I love our American listeners.
The importers buying off exporters are getting a different common name because it's common in that part of the world. The chameleon cichlid's another one. They're known as bumblebees here, but on the import list, they come in as chameleons, but they're Pierce Carbros.
Yeah.
So like that's another one. But overseas, chameleon cichlid is a very common name for them. We just don't call them that here. And hornet cichlid is another one that they get called.
I've got like 2 or 3 people that buy Africans off me that keep trying to define which strain of dragon's blood and OB it is. And they're like, oh, is that a saffron? Is that a saffron dragon's blood? Is that this type of dragon's blood? This type of dragon's blood? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, well, they're all just dragon's bloods, mate. That's a yellow one. That's a pink one. That's a red one. You know, like I wouldn't.
Well, then, even then, you're saying it's a yellow one, it's a pink one, it's a red one. How's that any different from someone saying I've got a saffron one, a blueberry one, and a blah 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 one? It's just a dragon's blood.
Yeah, it's just a dragon's blood, and it's a hybrid, so it can't even have a scientific name anyway.
Yeah, but that's we'll have.
It's just clarifying it because it gets confusing.
Yeah, but they're all just marketing names, which is what Abel Tasman Betters said. A lot of it is just marketing, and they will just
making life easier. Because as a general rule, humans are lazy and we want things to be as easy as possible. And it's really hard to say scientific names, but it's really easy to say electric yellow.
We don't speak Latin, so you know, it's quite
they
hard.
Usually come from Latin is the download.
Yeah.
But yeah, because a lot of I'd say my thought on it is like everything pretty much does need a common name, and it is kind of annoying when you run into things that don't have a common name, or the common name doesn't make any sense. Like, for example, the Juliochromis dickfeldi, one of the common names is brown Julie, which is
really should be called a Dickiefeld.
Yes, and also if it should be called a blue Julie because it doesn't have any brown on it, or
red top lycoma, which does not have a red top.
Yeah, there's like some of these.
I'm sensing a massive issue in stupid African cichlids. They're the ones
that it's stupid
because they are stupid fish.
Yeah. Oh no, it's just because it's because there's like 5 that look almost the same, but there's like slight differences, and then they'll get muddled up, and then some idiot calls a blue fish a brown Julie or whatever, and then it's a nightmare. But
I can understand why you 2 idiots are involved in them because they're stupid fish.
At least I'm not in charge of naming them, which is our only saving
So
grace.
I guess
But you
the
can
next,
be in charge of naming them because you can make it up. It's just like whose line is it anyway.
I guess
It would mean nothing.
it would be kind of prudent for us to actually do something like talk about how a scientific name is actually made and what it means. Like there's two parts to it. What do they mean? Like the two parts.
I don't understand it well enough to feel like I can explain it to people. So I'll defer to you guys on that one. Go ahead.
What was the question? I'm Googling something that someone's just said.
What is a scientific name? Like how is it built?
So there's like a genus and then a specific species. So like they try and
genus is like a
group the fish into like they might be like, right, that there is a Corydoras or whatever because it has these attributes, whatever it is, this many fins or whatever. It's this these define it. These define it as being a Corydoras, and they define what a Corydoras is within that family, and then they go through and name them individually as an individual species within that family, basically.
Yeah, I've always gone
the
first one is family, and then the next one is the broken down a little bit more again, so to speak,
into specific species. Yeah.
And
often the species are named after the person that discovers them.
Yeah, or they are allowed to name it after whatever they want to name it after as well. There's a lot
they
of that.
Discover it. Yes. Yeah. Or they're named after attributes that fish has in Latin. Like it might be blue, so they use the Latin word for blue or something, which is actually what the Latin name for electric yellows is because they discovered the blue ones first.
Blue.
Yeah.
So even scientific names can be confusing as hell.
Oh yeah. And without being a scientist and literally pulling the fish apart, it can be very hard to tell.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of like things that are broadly easier, the thing is everything only has one scientific name. Basically, I know sometimes they change and like gets confusing, but like broadly speaking, everything has one scientific name.
What do you mean by that statement?
They can have as many common names as you want. So that's why you get things that's got like 17 common names, but then only one. I was saying, wait, am I back?
You're back, yeah.
So everything only has one scientific name. So like, I can't think of anything. Like
Abel Tasman Betters has thrown out another curveball though, because that's
what I'm reading right now. Oh wait, no, I'm not.
Individual families have different localities. So basically they come from different places within the same species, and they can be different within that species, but they can be the same species. So that happens very commonly in African cichlids, where you can have a Jacob Freibergi that has about 10 different color variations, but it's technically the same species.
What, like the otter point?
Exactly, otter point. Then you've got lemon jakes. Then you've got all the different varieties. I can't think of any more.
Couldn't think of any other examples.
What's that other one that we've got? What's that other one that we get?
You just pick your plants because you're absolutely a plant guru, and you should give away the African cichlids because you just sucked during that interaction. Get back into the
you can go into Stuart Granty, which has like 20 different varieties, and they're all different colors and everything, so.
But I mean, broadly speaking, for like the fish, a lot of our listeners keep in that. There's one scientific name. Like it's all the same, like 2 words or names or whatever, and that's what that means. Like doesn't matter if you live in New Zealand or if you live in China, it's all the same.
Although like Helen said, and then you get to thinking you've got a handle on the Latin names, and they get reclassified and the name changes. So like other scientists will go through and retrospectively study these fish and then decide actually these fish belong in a different genus or a different family, and they go and change them all.
And that's how science works.
But in that situation, then the general hobbyist still used the old name from before it got reclassified.
Then the old scientific name becomes a common name, doesn't it?
Mm.
Yeah,
it's not scientific anymore. So how do you even keep up?
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm sure
you
it
just
happens
call
so
it
much
a
more often than
electric
we.
blue, or an electric yellow, or an electric red, or any other
Or
color
just
you
be
want to call
like, or you just be like, bro, that fish is so blue right now. Like,
it.
Like
yeah,
Ali,
that's the end.
Ali is the electric blue. Ali is the most common example that's still stuffed up around the world that people don't understand. So 20 years ago, everyone was calling Frieri Ali, and Ali was really rare and doesn't actually exist in the hobby pretty much, and is a dumb fish. It's got no color. So 20 years ago, nowadays people still call Frieri Ali. So Ali is actually a common name for Frieri, but it's also a scientific name for a different fish. So it's very confusing.
The electric blue haps are Freyries and they're not Arlies, and Arlies are uncommon. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And
So
they're actually got no color in it.
So I need to buy some electric blue Freyri and market them as electric blue Ali because that's an acceptable name, and then make millions of dollars because they're not common. As long as I say they're not common.
Yeah, basically, that's what happens.
Done.
It's just stuffed up. Yeah. So you're not actually buying Ali, but then Ali is probably an acceptable common name for Frieri because it's been used for so long, but it's a different species. So, yeah.
And if you use the word uncommon, it's worth more. Or rare. Sorry, rare is the right words to be using here.
Wild caught, rare, uncommon. Give me $10,000 right now.
Wild caught, rare, uncommon, F1 Arlies.
Exactly.
Yeah. German.
Yeah.
German breed.
German breed wild caught.
Aquahouse.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. They're premium. They're worth a premium now. They've got all the. It's ticked all the boxes.
My $15 fish just became a $150 fish. Bring it on.
If you guys want to rip anyone off, I guess you got a guide now.
What's that?
I said, if anyone needs to rip anyone off, I guess you got a guide on how to do it now. So
buzzwords,
and you'll see it. You will see it.
Yeah, man.
It happens. It happens even in New Zealand. Yeah.
Oh, of course. But I mean, because even some of the confusing ones, you know what? The most common one I run into is very specific to African cichlids again, but
standard.
But OB peacocks, everyone calls them marble peacocks, and then they come in and then they see my OB peacocks that I like on the tank. It's like listed OB peacock, but they're like, oh, but that's a marble. That's the same as my marble peacock. I'm like, oh, yeah. Well, one of the importers calls them that, and so that's what they all get sold as, but it's actually the same thing. And then people don't believe me, and then it gets very confusing. But
what people do is they come in and they go, that one's not an OB, that one's a marble. That one's an OB, and that one's a marble peacock. And they're trying to tell the difference because I've got a marble and it looks like that one. So that one must be a marble, and this one must be an OB. It must be different.
What I've found is when people say marble, they generally think of uncolored OBs. Because like an uncolored OB
Females,
does kind of look like,
or young ones, yeah,
or even like juveniles. Because like usually they're like the marble peacocks people are talking about is like 3 centimeters or 4 centimeters. Generally not got their adult colors, so it's like kind of whitish with like the black splotches, and like that's marble. And then when they start getting that yellow or red or through or whatever through, that's when like they convert into an OB. So like when they start getting a little bit bigger, like 5-6 centimeters kind of thing, they start getting that bit of color through it. That's when it like changes over because like obviously,
but they're all the same fish. They're all the same fish.
Yeah, really. It's just like a juvenile to an adult, but that's like how people like from I guess talking to people. That's how a lot of people seem to think of it.
I always thought
that
it makes I'm going to put the name that the Labyrintropheus travasi were always known as the marble peacock.
That was actually a pretty good pronunciation. I'm not gonna lie. I've butchered things far worse than that.
They were marble peacocks, which are clearly not peacocks, but that's what I always thought they were called.
Oh yeah,
and I wouldn't even describe them as marble that much.
No, but that's what I always thought.
But the females are. The females are OB.
Females are, yeah.
The males are blue.
Yeah, but they're not marble. I mean, see,
they're just OB.
You gotta learn your semantics, man.
But what's a marble? Like a marble's a smooth, round thing of glass. So why are we calling OB peacocks marbles? Because
No,
it's marble.
marble.
By marble.
Marble is in like the
Hey!
rock, not as in like a little
Ah.
bead, like a marble bench or something.
Yeah, right. I'm with you now. That makes more sense now. I was thinking
Whoa.
like marble.
Do you think it's?
Mind blown. Mind blown.
Shut up!
stuff.
Your internet has been working today.
But anyway,
That was
this is why common names are very confusing, and it's
Anyone will
start-
get confused, no
if you
matter how
start wanting
much
to get a little bit more
experience you
serious
know.
about it, you should probably start looking at some scientific names and start being a little bit more specific if you can.
But
Yeah.
the other slight argument on that is like guppies, for example, they're all the same fish, but they've got color variants, and so that's where the common names come into it. And like, there's lots of fish that have got variants, color variants, but are the same fish.
But there's even within that is like there'll be like 4 different common names for the same type of guppy, and that
Yes.
is
Yeah. I was just
yeah. So even that, I guess, is still confusing. But I 100% agree. Like different color varieties of the same thing is especially
you can't get around that.
domestic things like your flower horns and your guppies and that. Because like as Ryan said before, with the like wild examples where there's like different varieties of the same species, you'd like call them by the collection point of like where it would be found. Like, Otter Point versus Cape Maclear is like those are 2 places, and it's like this one is found in this place, this one's found in this place. But something that's bred in a tank obviously doesn't have a wild location, so you just say, I don't know, Super Red Fancy or whatever the hell.
347 Lake Road is where it was born, so that's my new name for it.
That is so random that you know my address, but whatever.
How many times have I sent stuff to you? Of course I remember.
Yeah, and I don't know your address, so whatever.
Loser.
But yeah, it's
Turns
like
out even when you give it to me, I don't know it. And that little old lady had to ring me. Anyway, it's a different story.
But yeah,
I've already told that.
that I guess is the challenge with it, and realistically, there's no answer to it because like people. So
Well, is it wrong or is
Just
it right? Who knows? And it's never going to go away. It's just an awareness.
yeah, should just stop
awareness.
keeping
And-
fish. I guess it's too confusing.
In 5 years, people are probably going to have new common names for the same fish.
Oh, 100%.
And
Probably
it's just
tomorrow
gonna
you
be
wake
what it
up
is.
and someone's renamed like flower horns to something. So what are you going to do?
40 flowers.
Exactly. But yeah, did you guys have anything else you wanted to share on the subject of scientific names or anything?
We should try and get a fish named after us and call it 3 Idiotosa.
Sounds good. We'll start our lobbying group.
We need to try and find a fish that hasn't been discovered.
All right. Well, we'll get lobbying. I'll go. I don't know, swimming. See if I can pull anything up, and we'll go ahead.
I'm speaking to Heiko Gleer on Friday, so I might just lobby him to name one after us. How does that sound? That was
Just be really nice.
shameless plug.
Yeah, do it. Just be like, will you call one of your fish 3 Idiotosa to name it after our podcast?
Yeah.
We won't give you any money, but we'll give you, in exchange for coming on our podcast, that can be the payment.
Massive
privilege.
publicity across the globe.
Exactly. Oh, sweet as. Well, yeah, I have to go deal with some
Paperwork.
stuff. So, yeah, if we have
And I
nothing
need
else,
to go.
That
I need
means
to go
you
install
get to
some.
prepare.
I need
yes,
to.
it does.
I need to go install some insect screens so I can drive 3 hours back to Auckland today. Whoop, whoop.
Sounds like a good time.
Yep.
I'm going to lift the towel on the spawning tanks today and try and watch some fish make babies. I'm going to pull up a pew. I'm going to eat my cup of
You're
coffee.
gonna-
I'm going to sit in the
you're
dark
gonna
and
put a
I'm
bit of
going
Eat
to
your
enjoy
cup of
myself.
coffee.
Are you gonna put some special sauce in there to sort of encourage the mood?
Some daddy batter. Maybe. We'll see how we go.
Yeah.
I've definitely got Barry Manilow playing, so we're under control here.
You enjoy that. You enjoy that.
Oh, I will.
All right. Sweet as.
Expedition.
Well,
Yes, it's definitely an expedition, and that must be Jason.
cool. All right.
Anyway.
Sweet as. Well, see you guys later. Thank you for listening, and
I would see
Peace
you
out.
next week for another
Up the
exciting
love.
episode where we talk shit for 45 minutes and then briefly go over the topic.
sounds like a plan.